today we wanted to see if we can analyze a property that's outside our market. And today I bring Kansas City, Missouri. And I know there's two Kansas City. That's one in Kansas and there's one in Missouri. But this one I picked because it's close to three universities. I found this property in MLS just today. So I didn't have to look a lot. It's listed for $90,000, 89,900. I was showing Violetta earlier the pictures. What do you think? Just looking at it, what do you feel like?
I was thinking about how like it already hits one of your favorite things that it has some brick on it. Only thing from the outside, I would definitely cut that tree down.
Yeah,
It's gonna be that, but I think it looks
people don't know. I love brick. Um,
yeah. Yeah.
yes.
But this one's nice because from the pictures, it looks like they've updated. At least, they has fresh paint, looks clean.
Kind of like semi-open concept.
When they come and update these types of homes, I always like they always put that backsplash. I hate that
Oh,
backsplash.
this one?
Yeah, it's either the gray one or the brown version of it, and they always put it in it. You're getting fridge and everything. You're including the appliances and stuff. Because sometimes, like with the properties that I get, since it was surprisingly something to learn that you don't provide some of these things because I guess tenants like to bring their stuff. Yeah, but some of the properties that I purchased, they had a fridge and stuff. So then I just leave it for the tenants. So.
Yeah, so it's a three-bedroom, one bath. Honestly, I don't see anything that needs to be fixed right away.
Not off from the pictures, but I've had like properties where they look really nice here, and then you go in person and the paint job is like, okay,
Like this vanity looks a little old, but it might
looks like they probably just painted it and stuff.
maybe some caulk on the bathroom here.
Yeah, that is a tip too when you're going and walking these properties is check the caulking because that's the last thing you want is water to start getting in between these things and to start rotting stuff away. The plumbing is always like a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
Is this like a bed? Is this a bedroom?
it seems like good. There's a wall, window unit three. Maybe it's like a back porch that goes into the basement. I don't know.
Hmm. It looks like it's a bedroom. I wonder if this was you said it was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath?
Bedroom, one bath,
Yeah, I wonder if it was like a 2, 1, and then they made this into kind of like a bedroom.
maybe. Okay, so let's look a little bit at that description. So 1,100 square feet, three bedrooms and what? Charming home, move-in ready bungalow. Oh, this is created with ChatGPT.
Yeah, you can notice some of these is like
Yeah,
definitely ChatGPT descriptions.
yeah. Previously used as a rental. Okay, so it does seem like they did some repairs to it.
Mhm.
Conveniently located, quick access to highways, just minutes from downtown Kansas City, the Arts District. Okay. So
It
1925.
is it's a cute little house. Yeah.
And like I mentioned before, there's a big university very close to this. I think it's right here. It's the
Yeah.
Kansas Public University. And that's the reason why I chose this market because there's three universities in a triangle kind of thing. And I wanted to look for a market that was doable for us. So initially, I don't know the city, right? I don't know the zip code, but I go and put it on my niche website that I look up. And so I see that it's a C plus community neighborhood and also want to see like what the population is, about 20,000. So it's pretty small. The median rent is $1,000. And one more thing that I do want to see is like how much the household income is. So I am always looking for over 40,000 for income, which means like majority of the people here are over poverty line. So you do want to know like the people that rent your pool house, it will be somebody that has a job.
Mhm.
And then the next thing I would do is trying to find out how much this rents for. So I'll go to rentcast.io, which is similar to Rentometer, and I would want to know what this rents for. You can also use apartments.com, Zillow.com, but it seems like rent, the median rent is 1,300 and the minimum, like the lowest that they see is 1,150 and it can go as high as 1,480. I'm sure that if you wanted to compare, you have some comps here. So if you wanted to compare like the houses that you're looking at or pulling comps from, you could. So three bedrooms, one bath, brick house, see the updates. Mostly like the higher rents are most likely higher, nicer rehabs, new construction, higher appliances. But always when I look at rents, I do want to make sure I'm not at the top end.
Mhm.
Neither I'm at the lowest. I'm always somewhere in the middle. So I would definitely say 1300. Probably what I would aim for.
Same, I don't like being at the top. It's just going to sit longer, and you might get somebody eventually, but I rather get it rented fast. When you're looking for your market, which again, we're kind of in a good spot right now where we have technology where we're literally just sitting right here. I'm like chilled, lean back, and we're just looking at a market way in another state, but you could do so much, like figure out the median rent and see what's all around. That's what I do too, is click on the map, look what is around there. And the other thing is I like to do the Google Maps and like basically like walk, I would say like walk down the neighborhood and kind of look at that street and see how is that street like, if other people are taking care of their properties, because just because it's like in a C neighborhood doesn't mean that, people don't take pride in their like their houses. And C, that one's well taken care of, lawn cut, you know, lined up.
Like the cars that are parked in front of the houses.
Yes, the cars are just in the front and all that stuff. So,
It does look like it's on a hill.
which is good because if it rains, then it's going to go down there. Yours is your property. Maybe that one that's further down the street might. But yeah, it looks like a nice location. Look at that. Yeah, and then you can look at the other houses. Like, who said it that it was an up and coming area? Yeah. So that's another thing too, because you could see that house, but then you walk down the street and you could see that houses are starting to get like remodeled or whatever. So you could get a lot of clues by just like walking down and stuff. Like that one right there on your left is that one's getting remodeled. It looks like they're gutting it. So this area is starting to slowly come up and
So I wanted to go see run the numbers just from like
Mhm.
this small of a window of what we have here. So let's say we do get them from the purchase price of $90,000. You get a conventional loan or the SCR loan, a 20% down. You pay your closing costs about 5%. So total out of pocket, you're at 20,000, 22,500. Let's say you get an interest rate of 675. Your mortgage is about 466.99. We looked up taxes for Missouri, Kansas, Missouri. It says it was about 19% of your assessed value. So that comes out some in the vicinity of 1,200 to 1,300. So we put $100 monthly. Insurance, we just guesstimated, Villette and I have houses like these that insurance runs between 70 to like 120 on depends. So total PITI is 666.99. Oh my God, that's the devil's number. Well, with the for comps were from the estimator, we have 1310. And after all the expenses, and she remind me like sometimes you have to pay utilities, but I believe on most single families you don't. So if you do, you will have to alter that. For example, I put zero down. And then property management, if you're using a property manager, we assume 10%. Vacancy repairs, capital expenditures. I did 5% for each category.
Once you learn your market, then you could adjust it or whatever. You could either go in the high end and just be safe. But I think with this property, I think you're pretty safe. Of course, once you do the inspection, you'll get a better idea of like, how old is the HVAC, looking at the plumbing, things like that. Then you could kind of adjust it. And then as far as like the utilities, because I have multifamily and the water's usually like under like my name and stuff, and then they pay me and stuff. I usually account for like maybe throughout the year I might have some loss here or there because by when they move out, whatever. So
So
yeah,
you
you
can
just learn these
adjust
things as you go.
you can adjust this as you need, as much comfortable it makes you. Total will end where 994. And if it's the rent box double calculator is true, then we would be cash flowing $316 after all expenses are paid, being that $3,786 yearly. That will give you a cash on cash return of 16%. And
Mhm.
on paper, this looks good, right? Now, the next step would be contacting a realtor, seeing what the realtor thinks. I know realtors cannot give you like an opinion about a zip code, the saying that that's a bad area. I believe that's controversial for them to do. But you could say things like, would you invest in this area? What are the challenges that I would run into if I was to buy a property here? And if you wanted to do even more research, you would call the police department and say how often the police patrols this area, how
Mhm.
often are crimes being reported in this area, and then decide if this is a zip code that you wanted to look at even further. But didn't take me long. This is it Missouri, the Midwest? I'm not sure. I think it is. This is the Midwest. Quickly scan just of some clues that I have, like for example, that there's three universities close by. That is low purchase price, right? And then some of the pointers that we have already. 16% return, that's pretty good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, you could also ask the find a property manager in that like in that area and ask them questions on, how long does it take to, what's the average or whatever to put a tenant in and stuff like that. What type of tenants are around there and stuff like that, vacancies and all that stuff. Like you could ask them and they'll give you a more accurate picture because they work with properties in that area. And then I forgot what I was gonna say. Got distracted. But yeah, property manager. But like you said, yeah, this took pretty pretty quick. Like we did it like right before well, she brought the property and then we just like took maybe 5 minutes to kind of like research everything, 5, 10, and put it through the calculator and be like, oh, okay, this one is a possibility, a pretty strong possibility. Um, because a lot of people like are always asking, like, oh, where do I go find these properties that you get for like 100K or whatever and that are cash flowing and stuff? It's just you gotta go and look for them. I don't know. Did you say how you picked this one? Like you just
Well,
like looked up a state
yeah, no, I just know that I have a few friends that go to Kansas City University, and I was just like, oh, I never seen. So I was just like, I never seen this market. Let me take a look at it.
for putting 20% down. Where'd it go? That's like about 17K. And then you did the percentage at 6.75. Yeah, for 90K, this is a pretty solid deal. 300 cash flow and 14%. You said for cash on cash. Yeah. I would probably go for this property.
Yeah. So for me, I do ask my realtor to take so for my market, Gary, for example, it's very street by street. So I do ask them to take a video of the street, and on the Google pictures or the Google images that you do get, there is a date at the bottom where it was taken. So if it was like the last satellite view was in 2022, that's not updated.
Yeah, I don't want to use that one.
There is some satellites I've seen as early as like 2017. I don't really rely on those, but if it's 2025, then that's pretty good.
Yeah, I look for as long as it says 2025. But yeah, like yeah, when you have your realtor, like you said, yeah, drive around. I've had them like talk to neighbors if they happen to be outside or whatever and were willing to talk or whatever. I've had that as well. And they'll tell you because, they want to, especially if they're like in a decent neighborhood, even though it's like, lower to moderate income, a lot of them they still have their like community there too. So they want to protect their community too. So they'll tell you about it and stuff. I've had some where like they express their concerns like, as long as, you're not putting in bad people because this is a good community and we want to keep it that way. and stuff. So
Yeah. Have you had any of the challenges of not having responsive realtors when you're calling from?
yes, yes, it's so annoying.
Yeah. I think it's because also the purchase price of these properties are not as high as well.
Hmm.
So they don't take us as seriously.
Yeah, I definitely see that too. I feel like we're kind of like and stuff, but you build that relationship, and I think he was motivated at first because he probably imagined that I would be buying more often than I am. Like I bought in December, and then I had the plan was to buy like, a few months later or summertime. But now I think I'm ending the year without one. So unless I go for this one, maybe I'll go look at that one.
And I think you do gain some knowledge from going to your market. I've been to my market now the last 3 years. And
Mm.
every time I go, I learn something new and I learn something about the businesses that are opening up on my market and even news, right? Just talking to people that are working there, constructors or people that are subcontractors. If you're actively working there, you like see where they live, where they commute, where they go to work. And then so you get more data points, not just like from looking at things, but also from the people that are there.
Yeah, yeah. I think one day I'd like to go for those reasons because I want to kind of like see for myself some things and maybe do some things while I'm there.
I wonder if anybody is looking at a different market now. It's winter, so I believe for us, or things are slowing down in our markets. If anybody has like any questions about a new market or wanted to discuss, have send us new questions on our YouTube channel or on this live, or and check us out on Real Estate Help Us so we can continue to bring you more things every week.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
And if y'all go get it, let us know. Let us know if you decide to go for this one and give us the cheese mail
Yeah, or if
or
this
names
is
and everything.
a neighborhood that you will never invest in and tell us why.